Welcome back to another episode of Easy Peasy Labeling with me, Melissa. Today I am back with the LW-PX700 and I'm going to show you how to make your first label. Now, this printer is pretty easy to use, so I have no doubts that you could turn it on and print a label. So I'm going to show you a little bit more of an advanced feature. We got this. All right, now I want to give a shout out to my buddy Derek. Hi Derek, for giving me this application. So this is exactly what he was doing. I thought it would be cool to show you guys as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the printer on button. And now what I have in here is one of our self-laminating tapes. So let me tell you a little bit about this. The self-laminating tape is best for when you're labeling wires or cables, and it has a connector on the end already, so I can't slide a heat shrink tube on there. But I still want to label this. So that's where the self-laminating tape is super helpful. It has a top printable part with a clear tail, so as it wraps around itself, I can still read what it is. I'll show you what that looks like once we've printed it. Okay, now what Derek was doing is he was printing, he wanted serialized labels. So he wanted them to start at A01 and go up from there, but he didn't want to sit there and print each one individually. He thought there's got to be an easier way to do this. Yes, there is. So I will show you how to do that. Now this printer is smart. It knows that I have one of those self-laminating tapes in the printer, and it's going to automatically prompt me as soon as I turn it on to say, hey, set your length. Now, like so many installers that I talked to, Derek wanted them to all be a consistent length. So he wanted them set at 1 inch. So that's what we're going to set them at here. And so I just hit return, and now it brings me to my label. If I needed anything else on the label, I can do that either before or after I add my sequence, but that was all we needed on it. So we can go ahead and hit the sequence button. It's the one right here that says 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit that button, and it says serialized text. So all I have to do is enter in my starting number. Now again, remember Derek needed it to be A01. Perfect. So I enter that in and I hit return. And then it gives me an option for repetition. Now this is important. For a lot of times people need multiple copies of that same number. So like our shipping department, for example, when they're making serialized barcode labels, they want it to go, they need 2 of each label. So that'll go 01, 01 before it goes on to 02, 02. So that's what the repetition is. Now Derek actually only needed 1, so I'm going to leave it set at 1, but that's what the repetition is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and press enter, and it brings me back to my label, and you can see the text. It says A01, and it kind of has little dots behind it. That is just so that I know whether I save this label and recall it, or if I'm making other things, I know that there's a special feature applied to this portion of the label. Of course, those silly dots are not going to print. So again, if I needed to add anything else on here, I could, but I'm ready to print. So all I have to do is do shift and print, and then I can set the print copies. Now, again, if, let's use Derek. So Derek needed A01 through A10, okay? So he needed 10 individual labels, okay? So I can just go ahead and enter in 10. But if you're doing that repetition, let's say Derek needed A01 through A10 and he needed 2 of each label, I would actually enter my copies as 20. The program can't, or the printer doesn't have the capability to do that equation for you. So just think, how many labels do I want? Not how many numbers, okay? There's your little trick there. So just for saving time, I'm just gonna go ahead and print 5 is all we need for now. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit return, and then I can just say, yes, I'm ready to start printing. All right, so now it's gonna go ahead and print my labels, and I'm just gonna go ahead and set it here and let it print. Now another thing is that I chose, because these are serialized and they're in order, I chose to use the half cut feature. So it's going to cut them separate from each other, but they're going to remain connected and in order by the backing. So that's really helpful if, again, you don't want to have a whole bunch of individual labels to try to keep in order or keep track of. So now it's done. I can go ahead and pull my label, and now you'll see that it's printed 01, 02, 03, 04, 05. Okay, so I can really easily, I can just peel off, there's that half cut, I can peel off number 1, and I can apply it on here. And you just stick it on like that, and then get it on, give it a little spin, boom, perfect, easy peasy. All right, that was making your first sequenced label with the LW-PX700. If you have questions on this model or any of its features, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to talk labeling with you. Check back for more videos as always, and happy labeling.